Ecom Facebook ad strategy. In 2024 alone, I have coached and managed over $1.5 million US dollars in meta ad spend. 60 over percent of them are in e-commerce. And I've actually audited and helped, I don't know, more than 100 businesses from all around the world who are in e-commerce. I would say one of the major problem when it comes to e-commerce meta advertising, as in Facebook advertising, meta advertising for e-commerce businesses, would be the consistency. As in, like, it's 100% normal to have some good months, bad months, good weeks, bad weeks, but it's really, to a lot of people, it's really hard to kind of dial into a consistent results that you can expect on a monthly basis. Now, if that's what you're facing, I would actually say that you can actually achieve consistency, because a lot of my clients have been seeing consistent, positive, healthy ROAS for their e-commerce campaign. Like one of my clients who is actually selling a very niche product. They sell playmat for children, really children below 5-year-old. So we have been consistently seeing 7 to 9 ROAS in the past 6 months. We have been working together for 6 months. Yes, you may have some good month that you may reach 11. You may have some lower month that you probably at the lower side of 7, but it's totally normal to have a consistent one. So one of the main reasons why, if your e-commerce is not reaching the consistency, would be you're probably advertising without a strategy. When I say without a strategy, what is really a Facebook ad strategy for e-commerce really? So in my opinion, it's actually a plan and structured approach to run Facebook ads. So basically, we've got, like multiple ads running simultaneously. And it's really a multi-tier campaign structure. And each tier is designated to specific types of audiences. Like, for example, very simple way of breaking it down would be, there will definitely be top of funnel ads. Okay. And the main purpose of the top of funnel ads would be to reach new people, to reach as many people as possible, to actually achieve the better CTR as possible. If possible, we would like to drive the CPM down and the CPC down, but we will have to observe, even though we may get really cheap clicks or cheap visits in, we want to observe whether these people are the right people that we want. So we will observe whether they do move through the funnel, as in, like, you have 100 clicks. If only 5 of them started navigating around, then you know that these are not the right people. But if you have 100 clicks and then these 100 people come in, each of them browse 2 to 3 items, that means you have about 2 to 300 content view. That means we got the right people. So there are a lot of things to monitor, but basically, in my opinion, that Facebook ad strategy is actually a planned and structured approach to run ads with multi-tier campaign structure. So just to give you an illustration, so I always like to use this as an example. So take this as a top of funnel campaign. So a top of funnel campaign is usually something that is out there just to want to capture people's attention. Of course, we want to capture the right people's attention. And the whole purpose of it is actually to bring people into our universe. So this ad, okay, it has only one purpose, which is we want to reel the fish in, because remember, we don't try to sell on the ad itself. That's what I always like to highlight. We use the ad to capture intent and interest. We want to find people who are interested in the product. Let's say this is a cycling shoe. So we want to bring people who are interested in this thing, and we want to bring them in. But too many ads try to sell on the ad itself. So that's really something that ideologically I don't like it. But anyway, so the sole purpose of the top of funnel ads is to bring people in and get them to engage with the ad. So basically, the whole idea here is, if they click on the ad, if they go to the website, if they purchase, I mean, that's the best case scenario. Whatever they do, whatever action they take on this list of actions they take, we don't let them see the same ad again. So this is a very important key concept when you are building a Facebook ads strategy, which is you want to have the top of funnel ads constantly reaching new people, remember? But a lot of top of funnel ads that I see that are not stable and not really doing well are those top of funnel ads that do not have exclusion. And when that ads run into a bad direction, you will have high frequency, which means a lot of people among the audiences that you are trying to target have seen your ads way too many times, and they start to hate your brand instead of liking it and taking decision finally. So top of funnel ads are meant to bring in new people. So you need to make sure that you have the exclusion in place. Then you'll be asking, what about those who click and yet to purchase? Then we would have a retargeting ads running. So basically, the retargeting ads is targeting those people who have engaged with the ad. So it really depends on your budget. Okay, for those who are spending quite big, we would actually try to target those who have landed on the website. We're talking about e-commerce, right? But if you are not spending big, we will try to target people who have engaged with the ad, meaning whether they like the post, whether they click on the ad, we have different way of bringing people into the retargeting. It really depends on the audience size that we have at the retargeting level. And when it comes to retargeting, it's really important for us to retargeting for an optimum duration only. Because a lot of retargeting ads fail actually because of high frequency as well, similar to the top of funnel. But what do we mean by high frequency at the retargeting ad? Let's say, for example, if you're doing retargeting for, let's say, 180 days, you believe that when I retarget these people who have visited my website in the last 180 days, I would have a bigger audience pool and the effectiveness should be higher. Now, I want you to rethink about this thing. Now, let me give you this in concept, in context. When you do that, let's say 160 days, 180 days retargeting, which means if I go to your website today, I will be seeing the same ad. If you don't change creative, if you don't have any variation of it, I'll be seeing the same ad for the next 6 months. Now tell me, would I like you or would I start hating you? So that's a really important key that we have to understand. When you are retargeting, you need to understand the duration, the impact of it. So what do you sell that requires a 6 months long duration to consider whether to buy from you or not? That's why when it comes to e-commerce retargeting, in my opinion, the optimum retargeting duration will be 7 days, maximum 14 days if you want to push a little bit. But usually the buying intent vanish. It's either transacted into a purchase, whether it's from you or someone else, or it fades away. So it's really the key. We need to know how and when to let go. And of course, whenever they purchase, they exclude. And after 7 days, we exclude. So basically, when the whole framework is built, this is what I call the evergreen campaign. Now, what do you mean by an evergreen campaign? It's a cycle. The top of funnel ads always out there to find us people who engage. And once they engage or they purchased, they don't see the top of funnel. Now, for those who did not purchase, we start feeding them the retargeting ads, which we will feed them for the optimum duration, usually for 7 days, up to 14 days. I nearly wanted to say 180 days. Come on. So like, okay, optimum duration. If you buy, great. If you don't, I still let you go. So that's a very simple illustration of a top of funnel. So I want you to start imagining if this is deployed in your campaign, okay, you can actually have this set of ads running. Remember, they have to be running simultaneously because the other common mistake a lot of people do when it comes to retargeting is they thought that they have to start retargeting later on, meaning you run ads for 2 weeks and then you start your retargeting 2 weeks later. That's, in my opinion, a wrong concept. Why? Because the buying intent has to be followed right now, not 2 weeks later, which means if a person click on your top of funnel ad and go to your website and don't buy, the moment they leave your website, they need to start seeing a retargeting ad, as simple as that. So that's the key. So that's one of the reasons why. But once the whole thing is set up, okay, you don't need to actually do much on the ad anymore. All we need to do is constantly optimizing, introducing new creative and all that. As and when we need to, there is no such thing as you need to create new content or launch new ad every week or every other weeks. It's not necessary because I've been running ads for 10 odd years now, frankly. One of my longest running profitable ads is the one that I've been running for like 25 months without changing creative, without changing audience, without adjusting anything, and still running at this optimum level, which is totally possible. But I'm not saying that you need to stretch up to 25 months, but usually a performing ad or a performing campaign should continue to perform for quite a long time. So it's a myth if you believe that you have to change ad every week or every month. It's not necessary. But I always encourage, definitely, we need to constantly test new creative because let's say now if the whole thing is doing well, my next question is always about how do we make more? How do we introduce new ad that encourages better action? How do we, it's all about optimization. But this is what I'm called, what do we call the evergreen campaign structure for e-commerce. And that's a simple version of a Facebook ad strategy. So if you build a Facebook ad strategy, I want you to look at this. This is a real campaign ROAS that one of my clients just completed this project. So as you can see, like the middle one is the top of funnel campaign. Okay. It's an e-commerce campaign anyway. So we are selling courses. So it's an e-commerce campaign. So this one should go out and reach new people. And when we reach new people, we know that these are the people that we want to reach, be it Advantage Plus campaign or it's like a broad campaign, whatever. I'm not talking about the structure basically, but the whole idea here is top of funnel, depending on what kind of structure you're building. But the top of funnel, we don't expect very high ROAS coming from that. But we don't want to monitor. We don't want it to be crappy anyway, but we want it to be, just reasonable. So instead of watching the ROAS for the top of funnel, we watch other metrics. Like I mentioned just now, we want to make sure that the creative is working at its optimum level. So we watch the CTR, we watch the CPM, okay? We watch the conversion from link click to content view. If it's an e-commerce, we want it to be, every person has to visit multiple products. That's the idea. So we want to monitor link click to content view. We want to monitor content view to add to cart. We want to monitor add to cart to purchase. So this is actually what I mean by the action funnel, but we don't really pay much attention on the ROAS as long as it's reasonably healthy, okay? But retargeting is going to come in and save the day. So basically, a retargeting ad is really, we have to build. I mean, there are many ways of building an optimized retargeting ad, to be frank, especially for e-commerce. Retargeting is really the key to success. So you can have multiple retargeting ads. That's what I want to say. Basically, if you look back at the the whole so-called Evergreen campaign, you can have multiple top of funnel campaign and you can have multiple retargeting campaign. What I showed you just now was just a simple version of it, but basically just imagine if I come in because of a product, say for example, I click on a pen, let's say, it's a pen. So that means I'm interested in the pen, but you're not selling just pen, right? So you should actually start feeding me other products like that is related to pen, which is like following my intent. So you can actually have a set of ads that tells me that you also sell I don't know, what can you sell when it comes to a bookstore? Maybe you sell books, you sell journals, you sell other stationaries. Like for example, the most common, like for example, what should I be using for this? Let's say, okay, now if I click on the ad on of a t-shirt, for example, you should start feeding me ads about maybe shorts, right? Because I'm buying t-shirts, I probably are into shorts, jeans, accessories, belts, and stuff like that. So basically, the retargeting is going to come in to introduce. There are a few benefits of running retargeting ad. The first, it actually reminds your audience about their intent. So that's a very important thing. So you must have an ad that follows. I mean, if I see t-shirt, you must have a t-shirt ad following me. So that will remind me, that I'm interested in the t-shirt I should be buying. So yeah, for an optimum duration now. Aside from that, your other ads is going to come in and educate me about your other products. So that builds brand awareness in their head. Okay, because you followed me, you know that I'm interested in the t-shirt. So you start telling me that I have, jeans, I have good jeans, I have good accessories, I have good bags and stuff like that. So that allows me to understand that, oh, this guy has got all these multiple things. Who knows? Maybe in the future when I'm looking for one, I would remember you, right? So yeah, so that's for the branding side of it. And of course, the other part of it would be, it also allows us to kind of like increase the customer value as well. As in like, if I'm interested in the t-shirt, I probably hesitate because of the shipping fee. Now I know that you sell jeans. Oh, I like this. I just add another one and it increases the bucket size. What do we call the basket size? Come on, man. So yeah. So these are the multiple reasons why we need to run retargeting. So as you can see, the bottom there is the average. So basically, that's how we achieve higher ROAS for an e-commerce campaign with a solid strategy. So we aim for higher average ROAS instead of one ROAS for the top of funnel only. So like I said, you need to optimize. It's not just like, like apply the whole thing. You have top of funnel and retargeting and everything is going to work like a charm. It takes time to adjust. But what I want to highlight here is you need to have this key concept in mind and optimizing surrounding these key concepts. So this is Galia, this is the real client. The screenshot I showed you just now is really coming from Galia. So Galia runs an e-commerce website. Basically, they sell courses for a very niche hobby. Okay, so what happened to them is they have been running ads for 10 years, as you can see. But about 2 years ago, the whole thing just crumbled. Their campaigns start turning from good to bad, bad to worse, and then they do not know how to turn it back. So after working with different various parties and consultants and coaches, they came back, they reached out to me. So what we did was we've been working together for a few months now, actually. So what we did was we restructured the whole thing, rewired the whole thing. I must say we did not reach success in the first 2 weeks. Because first I was trying to understand the business. Frankly, it's totally a business that is out of my world. I don't understand the business at all. But I say, I bringing my expertise from my advertising perspective, the client bringing their expertise from their product perspective. So we started to exchange and build different strategy. On the second month, we started to see things turning better and better. And now, after working together for a few months, we are at a very healthy ROAS for most of our campaigns right now. So every time we do launches, we get double-digit ROAS. Even we don't do for those evergreen sales and all that, we are actually reaching very, very healthy ROAS right now with the strategy that we apply for them. So if you have issues with your campaign, used to run really well, now it's not doing well, probably you're using the old way to run meta ads, and a lot of things actually change. So if you need help, reach out to me, and let's talk about how can we actually restructure the whole thing and bring a more healthy and stable campaign to your business. Okay, so now let's talk about how do we build a meta ad strategy. So when we are building meta ad strategy, there are a few questions we need to ask. So the first question here is, how likely your customer would buy at the first visit? Now, I can actually give you an easy answer. Very, very unlikely, especially if you are targeting top of funnel, fresh audiences. First, I do not know you. This is just the first time I see your brand. Second, if I really like you, I wouldn't buy immediately because now I have got so many choices, right? So if you're in Malaysia, in Southeast Asia, I see you driving me to your website. The next thing I probably will find time to start checking out Shopee, which is an e-commerce marketplace, and other marketplace, and see whether I can actually find a better way to buy this. And even in Malaysia, a lot of places now, we can actually buy from China directly. So there are many options for us to buy. Okay, I may not buy from you in the first visit, but anyway, that doesn't mean that I won't buy. But you need to understand, the key here is do not expect people to buy at the first visit. That's the reason why retargeting is so important, right? Now, the second question we ask here is, how long do your customer need to consider buying before buying? Okay, like I said, nobody would actually in their right mind to consider for 6 months to buy a t-shirt. So you need to know when to let go, but you also need to know how long you should follow this person for, and what is your following strategy. Like I mentioned, you can actually follow me with t-shirt and other things to increase my awareness about your brand, to increase my basket size. Probably I will buy more with cross-selling, upselling, and all those stuff. So, but you need to have an idea about how long. And the next question would be, what are the key info your customer need to know when they are considering? So let's say if you're selling something slightly more complex, the top of funnel ad is to actually bring them into the product and understand it. And you may have different retargeting ads talking about different things. User testimonials, one of them, that work really well. Use case videos. If you're selling something complex, you probably want to teach them how to use. An explainer, maybe to tell people why you are better than others, explaining about the technology you use and stuff like that. Because you know that they're already interested in your product. So it's actually a good time to start reinforcing the key messages and bring them in, you see? Yeah. And of course, the next question would be, would they be interested in other products? If yes, what is your strategy to follow them? In a very strategic way. I just illustrated multiple times just now. So basically, you need to start thinking about that. And the next question would be, will your customer buy again? How often will they buy again? So this is really one of the key factor that actually helps some of my clients that are selling fast-moving goods to get very, very good result from a bunch of people, which is your past customers. It is 7 times more easier to sell to people who bought from you before than a stranger. So one of my clients who is selling like nail polish, whenever we have new launch, we just activate this bunch of people. I can easily achieve 15 to 20x ROAS among these people when we launch. So this is when you can actually get a lot of money. And not just about launches. We can actually remind them because nail polish, right? we know that they probably will finish in 2 to 3 months. So every 3 months, we will kind of like launch a campaign to revive these people for a short kind of like short period. You can't do this often, but you have to strategically do it. So every month we would have a 1 week boost to actually reach out these people with a very special offer, and we will bring them in. So that stacks up to the ROAS actually. So like I say, it's the strategy, right? So these are the questions you need to ask. And second thing is we need to actually do a little bit of goal setting. So that's the second step of building a meta ad strategy. Because a lot of people came to me and say, Jason, how do I set my, like budget and all that? But before we look into the budget, we need to actually set the goal. So let's say, for example, we need to set monthly and yearly goals derived from real numbers. So when I work with, this is how I work with my clients, okay? I work with my clients because most of my clients come to me when they want to optimize their campaign. That's what I'm really good at. So if you have been running ads and now you're seeing some like, stagnant in your result and everything is kind of okay-ish, but you want to bring it to the next level, you've tried multiple ways, but you can't seem to find success, that's where I come in. So a lot of my clients, when they come in, so when we work together, I would ask my client, now, what do you want to achieve? That's always the key that I want to ask. So how much are you spending right now? How much are you getting right now? And what is your goal? So like, for example, recently a client just came to me. They want to increase their e-commerce sales by 30% in 3 months' time, which is doable because they have a very big market and their e-commerce sales is not really that significant in their total revenue yet. So okay, now I like it. So if we want to increase the sales by 30%, how much are we spending? And we need to actually start setting the goal over here. So basically, let's say if we want to generate 10,000 sales this month, for example. So a few questions we will be asking, how much is your average basket size? Let's say your average basket size is $100. That means you need to spend you need to get about 100 sales to get $100. So the next question will be, usually how much is your cost per acquisition per customer? So let's say you usually spend $20 to get one sale. Okay, that means you need to spend about $2,000. $20 times 100, you need to spend $2,000 to achieve $10,000 in sales. So that's usually how we set the budget. Okay, so from there, we will start going in. And, like I mentioned just now, I'm not an expert in any business. In fact, most of the clients that I work with, it's usually the first time I deal with a business like that, so it's crazy. So, but it's fun. You see, it's not about my whatever experience in your industry. It's about my experience in my industry and your experience in your industry. When we combine, we create the chemistry, right? So now, okay, so from there, we know that our budget is 2,000. So how do we break into top of funnel and retargeting? So this is a simple guidance, a rule of thumb here. So we will spend 80% into the top of funnel and 20% into the retargeting. Now, this is loosely defined, but we can actually have some adjustment. Say, for example, I've got a client who has 15 retargeting ads running, okay? We have to spend a little bit more than 20%. So that's totally understandable. But usually this is the guiding framework. We spend 80%-ish on the top of funnel, 20%-ish at the retargeting. That's how we usually go. And then we may move more budget on the retargeting during sales period. That's really the key. Now, when I work with my client, I don't just work on the monthly goals. I work on the yearly goals as well. And when we say yearly, you need to understand one very important thing, okay? Situations change and situations are something that we cannot control. When I say situation, means it could be the environment that may be changing. Say, for example, you have got like a school holiday that is usually fatal to some of the businesses, especially in lead gen. Beginning of the school holiday, if it's a long break, parents are going to take the family out and they usually don't respond to B2B businesses, something like that. Festive season, we know what's going to happen. So I believe you've been running ads for a long time. You must know when is your high time and low time. Okay, so it's totally reasonable for us to move the budget. So let's say if you want to spend 100,000 a year, we don't actually break 100,000 evenly for each month. We probably will spend a lot more on certain months because we know that that's where we rack in the most money, and we spend lower and certain low months just to maintain a level of consistency over there. But this is how we plan. And remember, when it comes to top of funnel and retargeting, both campaign runs simultaneously. There is no this comes first, that comes later, no such thing. Both have to go out, must be in the market simultaneously so that we have the connection tightly knitted. Once you leave the website, you start seeing the retargeting, you start seeing the testimonial ads coming in, you start seeing the use case video coming in, you start seeing the vouchers coming in. Yes, vouchers as well. So there are many ways of actually planning this thing, but yeah. So the next thing is talking about the key messaging. So when it comes to top of funnel campaign, the messaging will be always about attracting the right audience. It's about getting the right people in with the right intent and interest. Okay. And because it's e-commerce, we tolerate for lower ROAS at the top of funnel, and we aim for lower CPC, lower CPM, better CTR. Of course, we need to monitor the after the click conversion. We want to have healthy number of content view coming from the clicks, healthy number of add to cart, and all these things. So these are all the numbers that we monitor. But the key message is always about attracting. Okay. Then when it comes to retargeting, basically it's about convincing the bystanders. These are the people who came. They care. They're interested. Just that they're waiting. They're waiting for what? They're waiting for more info, or they're waiting for a voucher, or they're waiting for, like maybe a testimonial. Anything is possible. So you need to start thinking about all these things but if you have been in business for a while, you know that what connects or what converts people. So that's really something. So like say testimonials, use case study, key USP, vouchers, and all that. And retargeting ad is important for e-commerce to get higher ROAS. That's where we actually get better ROAS averagely. Okay, that's where we boost the ROAS actually. It's actually at the retargeting level. So when it comes to the campaign structure, there are a few questions we need to ask ourselves when we are building the campaign itself. Okay, so here, do you have any star products or categories? Here's the strategy. Okay, we're talking about top of funnel here. When it comes to top of funnel, we usually use the best product to attract people. It could be the best product, it could be the lowest ticket product, or anything like that. But we need to design the strategy. Like one of my clients back then, it was a while ago. They have a star product, but when we tested, when I say star product, it's actually the cheapest in the market. They had that product, which is the cheapest in the market. And well, the quality is average. I mean, the competitive advantage was they are really cheaper. So we use that to run as a top of funnel ad. And it's converting all right at the top of funnel, but it doesn't help the retargeting because it's actually quite disconnected from their other products. So that is still a possibility where a star product can be a wrong top of funnel attraction. So we need to design the whole thing. So if you have a journey, let's say, for example, let's use back the fashion. Usually fashion is quite easy to design. We usually use the best sellers, and we connect the best sellers with the similar intent. So let's say if you come in from female section, we know that you won't be buying male. I would definitely not serve you guys ads, but I will serve you relevant ads because you look at the dress. I'll start telling you that I have got all these accessories, I've got jewelries, and all these are a lot likely to help you buy from me. So that's really so. But usually we may even have multiple top of funnel ads running. In fact, we do have. Usually, my clients would have definitely more than one, definitely more than one top of funnel ads. So yeah, even top of funnel can have multiple because you want to bring people in from various angles. It could be like, let's say if you are in fashion line, you want to have a male and female. Even for my clients who is in nail polish, we would actually break it from different colors because people may have different preferences or promotions, okay? Or different age group would have a different messaging for them. So these are all the things that we can actually design for the top of funnel strategy. And yeah, we usually use the star products and categories to draw these people in. And we always look at the best retargeting duration because that also defines how many ad sets we can pick. Like, for example, I did mention just now, one of my clients has got 15 retargeting ads. That's because we are actually having quite a number of good audience coming in at the top of funnel. So we can play with the retargeting, even at spending at a slightly lower at 25% budget, we are still able to break them into 15 categories because the overall spend is quite big. So that allows us to play differently. So the retargeting can be quite fun to play with. So yeah, so that's the part. But yeah, you need to understand the best retargeting duration. And basically you need to think about how do you maximize the retargeting ROAS with effective upsell and cross-sell strategies. I've been talking about this over and over since the beginning just now. So think about the journey. Think about what would they be looking for next, or what would they likely to look for this bunch of people who look at this product or this item. So, and especially now, the interesting part is you can actually use, if your website is really well learned, as in like the pixel has, you have been getting good conversion for a long time, the pixel is well nurtured, you should start considering even using Advantage Plus campaign for your retargeting, because that allows Facebook, the Meta AI, to kind of mix and match your ad to create multiple combinations and versions of it to appear to different people who are in a different level of their buying journey. That may actually give you quite a different results as well. So yeah, all these are the things that, like I say, things change. A lot of things change, especially in 2025 with all this AI stuff and all that. It's crazy right now. AI is killing a lot of my clients are killing it using AI. Like I can actually, just now I just look at one of my clients. We achieve 1/10 of our usual cost per purchase with an Advantage Plus campaign. We usually get about like 300, um, uh, that's the local currency. It's about like $10 per purchase. Now we are actually getting about $1.5 per purchase right now. Exactly the same creative, but we just turn it into Advantage Plus. Things change tremendously. So these are all the new things that is in the shop right now, but you may not know it and you are not using it and you're missing a lot of money on the table. So that's what I want to highlight here. So yeah, and of course we need to talk about the long-term strategy. If you're in e-service, basically you need to understand if you can start selling to the people who bought from you, what would be your retargeting strategy for purchases? Or all these are the things that we can actually, all these are the questions that we will ask to design the strategy. But basically, since the very beginning, you already know how the strategy is being designed. We just need to put this into our thinking process where we are designing this thing. So a quick campaign structure, I just want you to quickly look at it. Let's start with the top of funnel. So like I say, we have multiple top of funnel ads using star products, best sellers. But remember, you want to make sure that you are bringing the right people in. Otherwise, if they do not connect with the retargeting, it may not actually create a kind of like a flowing journey for your audience over here. Okay, so the top of funnel ads is meant to capture interest and intent, and we focus on the CTR and CPC and CPM and stuff like that. We don't really bother when the ROAS is just doing fine, because we know that the retargeting is going to do its job to improve the ROAS. So we aim to bring in the most audience at the lowest cost. And we spend 80% of the budget over here. So that's for the top of funnel ads. But when it comes to retargeting, okay, to sum this up, we definitely would have multiple retargeting ads. Okay, the whole idea here is to capture intent and maximize ROAS. We tolerate for higher frequency, yes. For top of funnel, we want the frequency to be at the lower side. 7 days duration, it has to be below 2 per ad set or per campaign per se. Okay, we don't want to have very high frequency. We just want to make sure that we are reaching more new people. But when it comes to retargeting overall, like the client that has 15 ad sets for retargeting, overall frequency, we can tolerate between 5 to 8. Yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine, to be frank. 5 to 8 is actually a very ideal frequency, even for 15 ads campaign over there. So yeah, because that would allows the, like the brand effect to kick in, and they will maximize the reminder effect, and of course the cross-selling and upselling effect and all that to achieve better ROAS for us. Okay, and of course we want to maximize for the best conversion window, 7 days, 14 days max. So you need to plan. And when we actually adjust the 7 days or 14 days or whatever duration, we actually look at first the audience size that is coming in from the top of funnel. It really depends on how much we are spending. And of course, the customer journey or the buying journey for your particular product, because different product would have different buying consideration and all that. So yeah, so all these are the things to plan. And then we would actually set up periodical reminder ads to boost conversion from past customers. That's really something a lot of people don't do. But of course, it's not applicable to all businesses. You need to start looking at whether your business actually would have people come back and buy. Like the other client of mine, frankly, We are killing it by just selling to those people who actually. So every new customer we bring in, we know that we're gonna hold them for a long time. So yeah, you know what they sell? They sell adult diapers. It's at first I thought that this is a very tough market. Now that I realize it's actually a very simple business model, you spend good enough money to bring them in, and they stick with you. And you just need to build a plan to keep getting them to buy again every 3 months, every 2 months, and all that. And it's beautiful. Clients growing flips and bounds around. Now, seriously, it's crazy. So yeah, and yet we spend 20% of the budget here only, and we are achieving great results from this campaign. So just to illustrate the whole journey here, as you can see now, we have top of funnel ads, multiple of them, and we will bring the audience to the website. Then we will break down to audiences who purchase and not purchase. So when they purchase, of course, we need to exclude. And remember, the exclusion applies on top of funnel. Even by clicking on it, we exclude them. But retargeting of those who did not purchase, we start showing them multiple retargeting ads to remind them about what they were interested in, to introduce our other products, to actually give them a little bit of convincing power to tell them about, to show them the testimonials, to share with them the use case videos and stuff like that. So all these are the things that we can actually run in the retargeting. And for those who purchase, of course, whether periodical reminder ads is applicable to the business, to your business, because that would actually help improve the overall ROAS in a very interesting way. So remember, let's come back to this. This is a very likely ROAS that you might get, lower ROAS at the top of funnel, but when the retargeting kicks in, the average ROAS become very, very ideal for your business, and I hope. So, and this is totally possible. Okay, I mentioned I've got clients who have been getting stable ROAS for many, many months now, and it's totally possible. But yet again, this is just the, like the idea of building a structure, like I say, it still takes optimization. So when it comes to optimization means we need to actually put the test. Now that we have designed a strategy with these 5 top of funnel ads for the, like to bring people in, and with these 8 retargeting ads to cross market, to cross sell and stuff, we know that this is actually the thing that we actually are setting up, and then we put to test. So when it comes to optimization, my way of optimization is always metric driven optimization. Okay, so when it comes to optimization means we actually analyze the data to help us make better decisions. So let's say 5 top of funnel ads going out. Okay, and after running this for a week, we know that, 3 of them are doing pretty good ROAS. Not just ROAS, the CTR and everything, all the metrics are good. We continue doing this. But the other 2 of them is not good. 1 week, we monitor. 2 weeks, it's still not good. Then we have to actually take them down. We start introducing new ads. That's how we optimize. All right. And it's going down, and we introduce. We only, we only replace the non-performing one, but the performing one, usually let it go. And of course, we need to talk about scaling. How do we scale? When is the right time to scale? How do we scale strategically? And yeah, all these are the questions to ask. But metrics-driven optimization is the most reliable optimization method I've been using for many years now, because you are actually making decisions based on numbers instead of gut feeling. So that's a very important thing. And my optimization, focuses on 2 sides of optimization. There is on-ad optimization, which is always about the ad, the audience, and blah, 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 the strategy on the ad side. But the ad is only doing half the job. The other half of the job is actually being done by your website. Yeah, I've seen so many e-commerce campaign fail because of the checkout process or the landing page is wrong. Actually, yes. Like recently we just tweaked. Instead of sending people to the product itself, we thought that it's supposed to be doing better. But for this client of mine specifically, it did not do better. It's not good, Then we realized, okay, now let's test to bring them to homepage instead, which is counterintuitive because usually we don't advise people to bring them to homepage. But yet again, because of the product or the category or the niche they are in, people like to see a homepage-ish kind of thing before they start buying. And it worked. That's how we actually achieve. So there are many things to test. This is what I want to highlight to you. When it comes to optimization, there are many things to test. And even if you are getting good results, good ROAS right now, I wouldn't say you should actually scale right away, because I have this saying, do not scale an under-optimized campaign. I hope that makes sense to you. What do you mean by that? Now, if you let's say now you're getting 5 ROAS for your campaign right now, and you've been running ads for 2 months, you know that this is good. I want to scale. But let me ask you this question: do you know what's working? Is it the ad that is working? Is it the placement that is working? Is it like the audience that is working? Is it a website that is working? What is really working? And what is under optimized right now? Yeah, I've seen cases, 5 or 6 ROAS, but the CTR is 0.5. That means what? Because the CTR link click, our benchmark is 1%. But with 0.5, you're getting this result. What if I'm able to introduce new ad or new combination of ad that helps you get 1% CTR? You get what I mean? That means with the same amount that you're spending, you can potentially make double the clicks. Do you think that they will translate into double the landing page view, double the add to cart maybe, double the purchase maybe? Just by doing the right thing. So that's what I mean by optimization. We always look at what's working and what's not working. So don't optimize yet don't scale yet until you have an optimized campaign. That's why before you scale, let's talk about optimization. Let's analyze the numbers and see what's working, what's not working in your campaign. Make sure it's reached its peak capacity or potential. Then only we talk about scaling. That's always the best way. So you see, that's the beauty about building a campaign, a Facebook ads campaign. It's not just about like throwing the ad out, do a little bit of tweaking on the ad audience size and all that, and just hope that it works, right? There are so many things that we can actually do. So that's what I want to share with you in this training. So basically, the next advice I have for you here is really about building hypothesis, test, and repeat. So that's the whole thing. We have the mindset in mind, we have the strategy in mind. We build that, we put to test. Whatever works, we keep on. Whatever doesn't, we tweak and we optimize and ongoing. So this is a training to share with you the key concept of building a Facebook ad strategy. I would not be able to go through the nitty-gritty of setting it up because it's gonna be like a long-term kind of thing. But if you're interested to find out more, I have Meta Ads Blueprint 2025. So this is exactly where I actually do a walkthrough on how I set up the campaign for e-commerce, how I build the strategy, which I shared with you already. How do I set up the campaign with step-by-step walkthrough in the ads manager? So how do we do the audience targeting at the top of funnel? How do we actually separate? How do we build the structure? How do we group the ad sets together? And all that with step-by-step walkthrough. And then of course I also talk about with some case studies on how do I optimize and analyze campaigns and stuff like that. And most importantly, I also share about the latest tools and features that you need to know in meta advertising in 2025. So if that's something that you're looking for, scan this QR code. It's a paid course, of course. You can actually buy and start learning right away. And at the moment, I don't know whether I would take away this offer. It comes with one session of one-on-one, which actually I charge $75 out there if you buy on Fiverr for first time. And by buying this course, you get that for free. Yeah, so that's a bargain. So what my recommendation is actually very straightforward. Learn that, go through the course, learn that, build your campaign, run it for a week, and use that call to go through the analytics and optimization recommendations. So we would actually have, I would analyze your campaign and everything. I want to give you recommendations on how you can possibly take your campaign to the next level. So that's included in this course. Scan this QR code and happy learning. Now, just in case you want to say that, Jason, can you just help me set up the campaign? Yes, I do help clients restructure. Like, Galia was the one that came in at the very beginning. She needed that help, so we actually went through this exercise. It's a 2 Zoom call exercise where first I would design your strategy, like tailored for your business. Basically, first Zoom call is we will sit down. I will understand your business nature. I'll try to understand as much as I can. And I would actually, we will actually build based on your KPI, your goal, your budget, and all that. We'll build a strategy. So we would actually go through all your materials and all that. We will decide how many top of funnel creatives or ads we're going to create, how many retargeting ads we're going to create. Okay. And I will go through your landing page as well to give you recommendations about what are the things that we can actually improve. Because if you're running ads right now, I will be able to analyze your current ads to find optimization things from there. So we build a plan. And then after that, you go on, to create a creative, to do adjustment on your landing page and all that. So once you have every material ready, on the second call is when I will actually come in and set up the campaign on behalf of you, with you, for you. Bring your team if you need to, okay? But everything will be recorded. So consider this a tailored training for your business, which you can actually use it to train your team in the future. So basically, there you go. You have optimized campaign strategy designed by me and set up by me. Hopefully that will set you at a different launch level that you can actually start getting good results from there. But like I say, optimization is also the key moving forward. So you have a choice to work with me continuously for optimization. Otherwise, I will still give you the framework to start doing this on your own. So yeah, so that's what I do. That's what I can help you. If you need help, scan this QR code. This is actually, I only take a handful of clients per month. So scan this QR code, let me know more about your business, and let's have a quick chat and see whether we are a good fit to work together. If yes, let's work together. Otherwise, I'll point you to the right place to start.